We may be entering a new era of gender quotas in politics, but one Dublin Fianna Fáil councillor has included the experience of childbirth in his list of desirable requirements for female candidates. His comments have drawn the wrath of many already, including party colleague Fianna Fáil Senator Averil Power. I'll be speaking to her in a moment, but first of all, I spoke earlier to the councillor in question, Cllr Brabazon, who began by explaining his problems with the gender quota legislation.
Well, my problem is that its effect on a constituency basis will mean that there inevitably will be male candidates who will be deprived of an opportunity to run in the general election, in the forthcoming general election. And I suppose from the point of view of from a national perspective, from any political party or for independence or whatever, well, actually it doesn't affect independence, but from any political party's perspective, that could, stifle talent coming through and could have a long-term effect on the country.
You're saying
not having good candidates coming through.
You're saying stifling male talent simply on the basis of gender is utterly perverse and fundamentally anti-democratic. Surely it's the other way around.
Why would you say that, John?
Because if you don't have a quota of women, well, then you'll have a serious lack of women. We've seen at the moment there's about 16-17% of the makeup of Dáil Éireann is female.
Yes, John. I'm not saying that. The whole purpose of the article that I wrote was on the basis of trying to get to the root of the reason why women aren't getting involved in politics to the extent that we would like. And I think that patronisation in terms of giving them the leg up in the 30% is not the way to go. And I also think that there's the downside of it in the sense that male candidates will be knocked off they won't get their opportunity, they won't get their run at the general election and consequently get involved in national politics.
One of the things you wrote in the Dublin People article last week was that we should want real women with real life experience of the education system, the workplace, childbirth, childcare, managing money in tight situations and general life. So are you saying in that without experience of childbirth they shouldn't be chosen as candidates?
No, Sean, I'm not saying that at all, and I think that's an interpretation that some individuals have taken on this. That was not the purpose or intent of the word where it was used. Clearly, the word, and I know I've been accused of being insensitive in relation to it, but the purpose of that is that in any job employment, you have tick boxes to tick off. Like for example, in the whole area of journalism, you need to have various experience to become a successful journalist. In relation to being a politician, I think, and this applies to male and female, having children deepens and broadens their life experience, and certainly would assist them in making decisions or debating issues in relation to the whole area of childcare and so on. It is very important, in my view, that the politicians that we elect, male and female, have the broadest possible experience. And this word childbirth has been honed in on by certain people, and a certain construction has been put on it, and that is not the construction that was intended.
Yeah, but hold on a minute now. I just want to read it again, Tom. We should want real women with real life experience of the education system, the workplace, childbirth, childcare, managing money in tight situations, and general life. So you lay out certain qualifications that you require of the female candidates, and childbirth being one of them.
Well, I'm sorry, Sean, but I mean, male candidates don't have that attribute or that quality, and I think if you look across the whole gamut of topics that have been around the Oireachtas since certainly Christmas, you've had physiotomy, you've had adoption, you've had abortion. You've had a whole raft of social policy being discussed, and I think that the deeper and broader experience of motherhood certainly would give greater weight in opinion and debate into my mind on all of those areas.
Well, given that men ipso facto are not in a position to have experience of childbirth, although they can be, maybe they have experience of witnessing it, correct, as in many cases, surely it's unfair of you to single out this particular part of life experience as being essential for the suitability of women candidates.
Sorry, John, I never singled out that as one. It was as a part of a list of
okay,
things.
Well, to include it in your list of requirements. To include it in your list of requirements.
you think it's unfair that to bring in motherhood into the whole area of social policy, to bring that benefit to bear upon and to making laws and to debating social policy and where it should be going.
Now,
I don't think that's unfair.
I know that you don't want to engage in debate, but I do want to give you the opportunity of responding to our next contributor, your party colleague, Senator Averil Power, and I want you to stay if you can on the line, Tom, because I think in fairness you should have the opportunity to respond. Averil Power, has that contribution by Cllr Brabazon, has that clarified matters to your satisfaction?
It hasn't really, Sean, because I think Tom is still standing over the article that he wrote. Personally, I think it's deeply offensive to suggest that women who don't have children aren't real women, and that is the expression that he used. Many women can't have children because of infertility problems. I met a lady yesterday who had read the article who got very upset talking to me about it because she'd had a miscarriage. So I think it was really, really insensitive, and I really would just wish that Tom would take it back. I have no doubt, but of course politics needs women of all backgrounds. We need mothers and fathers. We need older women who've already reared their families and want to get back and bring their experience. We need young women who aren't there yet. We need women whose perspective, a lot of younger women, about why they don't have children yet is because they're not at a point yet in their careers where they feel that they can or they can't afford childcare. All of those perspectives are valid. And I think to argue that the only women who can provide strong representation at national level are mothers, and those is Tom's own word experience of motherhood, I think is incredibly offensive. And it's, female politicians have long complained about male rivals using their family status against them. If you have children, they'll say you're not up to the job, that you don't have time for it. If you don't, then you're not a real woman. I just think we can't
I'm not
win.
sure he said that you're not a real woman if you haven't got experience with childbirth. I think, another interpretation being put on the article might just as easily be that among the experience that women can bring to the political square, so to speak, are the education system, the workplace, childbirth, childcare, managing money in tight situations and general life. He's not necessarily saying you have to have experience of all of those, but those are some of the attributes that women can bring.
He also said, Sean, in the same article, the women who succeed will be those without families. They will not be representative of the majority of women and will be no more representative than that which has gone before. And I object to that, as you point out. 85% of the dollar male, that has always been the case. That's not representative of the majority of women. And women have a variety of life experience that does need to be heard and does need to be listened to. Now, I have no difficulty engaging with Tom in terms of the selection process for the next election, the quota system. Personally, I think it's a last resort to try and ensure that voters at least have a choice. It's not reserved seats for women. It's just ensuring that when you walk into a polling station, you'll no longer be handed a list of 10 men, that you'll actually see three women on that ballot paper. But no woman is going to get elected unless she's a top-class candidate, unless people are actually convinced that she's the best person for the job. But I think language like this is precisely what puts women off running for election. These comments are never made about men. We just selected a bright young male candidate last week, still in college. I don't remember any comments being made about him not being representative. The reality is they're just not made about male candidates, they're only made about women. And that is what puts off a lot of women who have fantastic experience of going into politics and putting themselves forward, and that they think they'll be judged on things like this, their family status, rather than actually their abilities or their experience.
To be fair to Cllr Brabazon, he says that in an ideal world there would be up to 50% women candidates, but he said setting up a glass ceiling against men and thereby stifling male talent simply on the basis of gender is perverse, it's undemocratic. And he says if this legislation goes unchecked and unchallenged down the road, well then you'll have to have parties compelled to run candidates on the basis of their ethnic origin, their religion, their sexual orientation, membership of the travelling community and so forth.
No, I think that's stretching the argument quite some distance now to be talking about quotas for all kinds of various different groups. The reality is women make up half the population of the country, and yet the Dáil has never been any more than 15% female. It's 85% male. Often when electoral research is done, it consistently highlights that voters do want to see a greater choice of women. Now, there are all kinds of reasons why women don't come through internal processes. A lot of them would say that there has been discrimination in the past, that often actually in situations where there's a sitting male TD, the most qualified female potential running mate is the least likely to get on the ticket because she's seen as a threat, and the male TD finds a way of blocking her. So internal processes haven't been perfect in the past. They won't be perfect after this either, but we do need to find a way of bringing forward greater diversity.
I want to go back to you, Cllr Brabazon. Just that point, again, it's one thing to list the qualities that you feel women can bring, but also to say, though, that the women who succeed will be those without families. How can you possibly say that?
Well, I can say that is the fact that the mere point that Averil points to the fact that there's 85% of the members of Dáil Éireann are men. The big reason why that is the case is because women with families don't want to get involved in the long, hard gruel that is politics, and that's the reality, because it takes them away from their families.
Well, what's your basis for saying that? I mean, like, I think of, just off the top of my head, Mary O'Rourke, a mother of 2. I think of Regina Doherty in the current Dáil, a mother, I think, of 4. I think of Mary Lou MacDonald, who has children. I think of people, say, like Joan Burton, again, a mother. More often than not, Liz O'Donnell before that. I think all of the women who've been elected, Mary Coughlin, another one who formerly was in your own party, the vast majority of the women in Dáil Éireann are mothers.
Yeah, they are, but the numbers of them are very, very small, and you have to look at that, Sean. I mean, the reality is it is not a family-friendly occupation for male or female.
That's a different argument, though.
No, it's not a different argument. I think it's related, Sean. It's very much related, and it also goes to the heart of it. I mean, there's been a lot of talk over recent years about politicians' pay and how reflective politicians pay, how out of touch politicians' pay has been with the ordinary man. And this whole debate goes to the heart of that issue as well. I also feel, Sean, that the whole thrust of the article that I wrote was very much about getting women and trying to get to the root cause of it, and encouraging women with the widest possible life experience getting involved in politics.
OK, we'll leave it there. Cllr Brabazon, Fianna Fáil councillor, and also Averil Power, Senator Averil Power. Thank you both for joining us.